where's Chambo? Chambo!
Ezog, I'm here! Hi!
Oh, wow.
I actually have something to show you.
What? Showing what?
DJ, hit it! Good job.
Wow.
Yeah!
Wow. Wow, so cool.
How's my dancing?
I saw the cover dance video made by the Korean embassy in India.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
That video went so viral.
Yeah, it became more viral when Prime Minister Modi retweeted it.
Absolutely. So that song is actually Natu Natu from the movie Ah. And it actually won an Academy Award for the best theme song in a movie.
Wow.
Incredible, right?
Yeah, it's so addictive song and dance.
Oh, yes.
So today's Korea's Focus, we're going to talk about the incredible India, a country that unites different cultures, different languages, and different religions by dancing and singing together. Let me introduce our guest for today. Please welcome the most famous Indian in Korea, Mr. Lucky, and the best Indian expert, Professor Jin Lee. Welcome!
Welcome.
Nice to meet you. Namaste.
Hello everyone, my name is Lucky. My Indian name is Abhishek Gupta. I'm a TV broadcaster, a businessman, and I've been in Korea for the last 28 years.
Hello, my name is Jiun Lee. I'm a professor at Sejong University, Seoul, Korea. And I studied in India for my MPhil and PhD degrees many years ago, and have also taught in Jawaharlal University as a PhD student.
So this year marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between Korea and India. And I am a big fan of curry and yoga, and I've been always fascinated by India.
Yes, in the past you have come to my restaurant.
Yeah, I
I remember
did.
you
I did.
loved all the Indian food.
Yeah, I tasted like spinach curry
Yes.
and vindaloo curry
Yes.
and various kinds of naan. So how about you, Chambo? What pops into your mind when you think of India?
I think of leadership because there's a lot of really world-renowned leaders that have come out of India, like Gandhi,
Gandhi.
Nehru.
His name, what we know for in the global arena, is Mahatma Gandhi, but actually his name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. That was the name given by his family. Mahatma was the nickname given by the people to him because Mahatma means a big soul, a big human being.
So that was a nickname.
I remember one of his quotes, Gandhi quotes, which said like, an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. And in these days when everybody is about war and taking revenge, so I think it's a very meaningful quote.
Even in today. You can't leave out Indian geniuses as well. And I heard that businesses in Silicon Valley wouldn't function without Indian talents in IT.
Yeah, many CEOs of global big tech companies are from India, including the Sundar Pichai of Google and Satya Nadella from Microsoft.
Yeah, these days you hear a lot that India is becoming a global exporter of CEOs and great
Right.
talent. But I'm kind of curious, in school, do you guys actually learn the 19 times table?
We as Indians, we never thought table of 19 is a huge deal because of course we have to learn it every day. And we thought maybe in Korea or US, the kids are learning tables of 40. So we have a discount out of 19.
Wow, so that was a true story. The Indian movie Three Idiots is one of my favorite movies by far. And when I watched that, I realized that Indians have a high zeal for education, just like Korean parents.
Yes, in Korean, the title is called Seolgani.
Yeah. Seolgani.
It's almost like 15 years and it's one of the very popular Indian movies in Korea. It's based on a real story. If you see the background, there is it's an institute called IIT, Indian
IIT,
Institute of
yes,
Technology.
so famous university.
And I think at present they have 23 of those institutes. So IIT produces most of the best brains in the world. And if you go to the tech world, you will have a lot of graduates from IIT. And due to that, there is a lot of like the dream for Indian students to go to IIT. The acceptance, the percentage of acceptance in IIT every year is 1.63%. It's a very highly competitive exam. Have you heard about this place called Kota? There is a city in nearby Delhi called Kota.
There was a Netflix series about it.
Yes,
Kota Factory,
yes,
where they
exactly.
talk about
So
education.
Kota Factory is about the kids who want to be, who aspire to go to IIT, and it's a whole city where the kids are preparing for the IIT exams. When Squid Game came and Kota Factory came as well, and Squid Game was #1 globally,
Yes.
except India, and Kota Factory was the #1. Eventually, Squid Game got the #1 spot.
So like almost everyone could relate to the
Yes,
series
yes,
in
yes.
India. And I heard these geniuses, even IIT students, dream of working in Korean companies.
K-culture has a huge brand worldwide thanks to K-drama, K-pop. All the youngsters of India, they look up to Korea for different job opportunities. And when it's come for the IT professionals, now Korea also have big tech companies like Samsung, LG. So there are a lot of opportunities. And me running a restaurant, I have so many Indian IT professionals coming to my restaurant. And then they tell me like, oh, we are working in Samsung, we are working in LG. I heard like there are like 400, 500 techies from India in Kupang.
So with such a large population and such a high zeal for education, it's no wonder that India has become so prominent in each field of the high technology industry, including IT, space, and bio. And I heard that India landed a spacecraft on the moon's south pole for the first time in human history.
Yes, it was called the Chandrayaan. In Sanskrit, it means like a moon vehicle or a moon rover. So they did attempt 4 years back, but during the landing phase, they couldn't have any success. But this time, they were a huge success. It was showed live on the television. I was watching on YouTube myself.
They launched another spacecraft called this time Aditya.
Yes.
Yeah, which means the sun god. For the solar atmosphere.
Wow.
Yeah.
So India seems to have a lot of similarities with Korea in terms of education and culture. So let's learn more about India. So Professor, why is everyone so interested in India these days?
Well, I see the main reason that India is growing at an incredible rate. Incredible India. Well, India ranked at the 5th largest GDP in the world last year, surpassing the UK. India's economic growth at the steep rate of 6.3%. The last April, it surpassed China to become the world's most populous country. Young and talented workforce is India's greatest strength. India is called young elephant with the median age of 29.
That's
Incredible, isn't it?
29?
Yeah.
But with such a large population, I think there are many different languages, cultures, and religions in various parts of the country.
India is divided into 6 zones, including north, south, east, west, central, and northeast. 6 zones, which are further divided into 28 states and 8 union territories. India is a land of many languages with 22 constitutionally recognized languages. Again, incredible number. And many religions also coexist as well, though majority of 80% are Hindus.
Like when Professor said like India has 22 constitutional languages, it means we have lots of dialects. On an average, every 50 kilometers, a language is changed, what they say.
So how many dialects can you speak?
I can speak Hindi, which is the most spoken language. I can understand fair bit of Punjabi, which is from the state of Punjab. I also understand fair bit of Gujarati, the state of Gujarat, also hometown of Prime Minister Modi, because I travel a lot for my work there. If you have like a fair bit of knowledge about Sanskrit, you can understand at least 5 to 10 languages if they're spoken like in a slow speed. Bangalore. Then I need a translator, or I have to speak English with them.
India has a very diverse culture.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So it's a huge country, and interestingly, like when we talk about India in Korea especially, most of the people know about New Delhi, the capital city, or Chennai, where you have the Hyundai plant, or Mumbai, the business capital, Calcutta. So these are the 4 big metropolitan cities. But the interesting fact point is, besides these big cities, these metropolitans, there are over 40 second-tier cities. These 2-tier cities, I would like to compare something like a Daejeon or a Daegu. So where you have a population of more than 1 million people.
There are more than 10,000 Korean diaspora living in major cities in India. Many Korean companies, including Samsung Electronics, LG Electronics, Hyundai, Kia Motors, and POSCO, have presence in India. And these are the reasons why there are 3 Korean diplomatic missions in India: the Korean Embassy in New Delhi and consulate generals in Mumbai and Chennai.
India is not only diverse or multi-ethnic or multi-linguistic, but it's also the largest democracy in the world. 1.4 billion people last over 70 years. We never had a coup. So we had a stable government and the most strongest democracy in the world.
Wow, is that even possible?
As I told you, India is a federation of 28 states with decentralized power in local regions, maintaining a democratic political system. The general elections in India last for 6 weeks.
Wow.
Not only one day like Korea.
6
Almost
weeks.
almost 1.5 months.
Yeah, and the 900 million voters in those 28 states can cast ballot. And this voting process covers every corner of India, including the Himalayan highlands, deserts, islands, jungles, wherever.
Even in Himalaya.
Of
Yeah,
course.
It's like elections is kind of a festival in India, you can say, because it's a huge event. It's made in a very safe way. And like the professor said, they travel Himalayas and all the remote places. There's only one person living in a remote jungle, and they set up everything for him.
I think it's a miracle that democracy is working peacefully in that vast territory. So India's democratic tradition seems to support its leadership role on the international arena. So India was the chair of the G20 this year, right?
Yeah, at this year's G20, India played a leading role for emerging and developing countries and contributed to the development of joint declaration of G20. India has been a leader of the global south and has promoted its benefits and interests.
This year marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between Korea and India. Could you tell us about some key diplomatic developments between the two countries in the past 50 years?
Much prior to the establishment of diplomatic ties, India sent a large-scale medical unit to Korea to provide much-needed medical support during the Korean War. And after the ceasefire, India chaired the Neutral Nations Supervisory Commission and dispatched the custodian forces for the protection and repatriation of prisoners of war.
Wow.
So that way, India played a very unique role for peace on the Korean Peninsula. Nowadays, contemporary era has also witnessed a few notable achievements of Korean companies in India. The Hyundai Chennai plant is known as the company's first successful overseas investment, and Hyundai Motors now ranks second in Indian domestic market and first in exports. And Samsung also is number 1 in the Indian smartphone market, and its Noida factory is the world's largest smartphone production plant.
So it seems like Korean companies are creating a lot of jobs in India.
Yeah, I think so. Korea's investment in India has reached a cumulative total of $10 billion. And the Hyundai Motors announced plans to invest 3.2 trillion Korean won in electric vehicle manufacturing in India over the next 10 years.
But I think it's not just in terms of actual hardware, but even in the digital realm, Korean companies are doing very well in India as well.
Yes, I actually had a chance to visit the first esports tournament in India. Yes, I was part of the VIP tour. I met the ambassador and 15 Indian esports professionals with 50 Korean professionals. They had a huge, I think, 3-day gaming at Pragati Maidan, which is kind of a co-ex of New Delhi, and was attended by lots of young kids, lots and lots of young kids. India never had a gaming infrastructure. Like the PC punks in India was always existing for official work. We never had a PC punk like in Korea, where you have a world-class monitors with fast internet. So only in past 5 years, with the affordability of nice smartphones and fast internet, the generation has discovered the gaming industry. So I think it's the trend in last 5 years where the mobile gaming company is booming, and has become one of the biggest market for few gaming companies in the world. Just to mention, I'm sure you must have heard about the famous Korean gaming company called Krafton. So Krafton's number one overseas market is India as of now. So Krafton Mobile, their daily active users in India is 14 million every day, and that's going to keep growing every day. So this is why Indian market has become so interesting globally now.
Professor, I heard that defense cooperation between the two countries is very active as well.
The Vajra is the Indian name for the K9 self-propelled howitzer. It's produced now in Prime Minister Modi's home state of Gujarat. The first 100 units were already delivered in year 2021, and the new procurement of its second batch of Vajra is now underway.
So there's a lot of collaboration between India and Korea, not just in gaming, in defense, all sorts of industries.
After taking office in 2014, Prime Minister Modi launched the Make in India initiative with a vision of transforming India into a global manufacturing hub. With the recent reorganization of the global supply network, India is gaining prominence as a global manufacturing hub. So how do you forecast India's future?
India is expected to make the world's third largest economy by GDP in year 2027, according to the IMF.
So in what direction is the development of future Korea-India cooperation headed?
Korea-India relationship was upgraded to special strategic partnership in 2015. India is Korea's 11th largest trading partner and 8th largest export destination last year. India and Korea, which share common value of freedom and democracy, are also expanding comprehensive cooperation and participating in the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework.
At the Korea-India summit held on the sidelines of the G20 summit in September, the two leaders agreed to strengthen strategic communication as key partners in the Indo-Pacific region.
Two countries are expected to expand economic cooperation through the speedy conclusion of the negotiations to upgrade the CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. And cooperation can be also expanded in high-tech sectors, such as digital and biohealth, as well as in areas such as defense industry, supply chains, and science and technology, as partners sharing common values.
So, talking about India today, I realized that I only knew a small part of the young elephant. Before wrapping up this episode, could you please finish this sentence? I think the relationship between Korea and India is blank.
All friendship for the future.
Two great nations, two great partners, and two great powers.
So that's it for today. Thank you and we'll see you next time.
फिर मिलेंगे